Wherever I go, I'm on home turf. Weex mobile browsers. No download, just trading. Storage for memories, freedom for trades. Weex mobile browsers. No download, just trading. Weak signal, strong trade. Weex mobile browsers. No download, just trading.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, no downloads, just trading. It's Crypto Blood. Welcome to the show, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Another week, another hot and exciting guest. We're going to have this guy, Crux of Crypto, come on with us today, guys. So make sure you drop those likes, drop your UID numbers. We got some giveaways we're doing, airdrops we're doing today. So I am very, very excited for this week's WEEXLY news recap with your boy, truly only one, Crypto Blood. All right, so look, let's get it started because we've got a crazy week in crypto for sure, right? It has been one news line after the other. We got a ceasefire, then we got a blockade of a blockade, then we've got everything's fine, they're demolished, we're going back to world peace, and then we go back to, it's just been all over the place, right? But the markets have been playing on that big time, and there's been a lot of opportunity for us to take advantage of that today. So I'm just very excited to go through all of that with you guys on this episode 3 of the WEEXLY news wrap. Just getting started though, out the gate, I want to tell you guys about the weekly airdrop we're doing on episode 3. It's an exclusive thing here. Comment in the section below if you're excited about this. Drop your UID. We're going to definitely be giving away some moolah today for you to trade on Weex. So first airdrop, comment with your UID number and put in there Weex to the moon. You put that in there. We're going to pick after the live stream. It may be a day or so, but we'll pick the winner. Each of you will get $8 to add to your trading funds. So that's pretty good to eat up a lot of those fees that you may accumulate there while you're trading. All right. So airdrop number 2 we'll do towards the end. It'll be during the AMA. We'll have the audience ask myself and Crux a few questions, and we'll pick 3 of the best ones. We'll pick, so make sure you queue up your questions now. Let us know what you want to know about in the crypto space, and we'll get those answers to you. And then there's another sign up, which is, or airdrop, I should say, which is a sign up VIP code. Use the VIP code I'm going to give you at the end. So just sign up. And within 24 hours, we'll pick 3 winners as well. So altogether, $72 we're giving away this week. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Let's go ahead and get into today's episode. What a week it has been. Fake rally or real shift? That's the question. That's what everyone's asking. That's what everyone's opining about. Oh, this is, I told you this, everyone's a trader after the fact. They're always a trader after the fact, ladies and gentlemen. I told you we were going to 78,000. I told you we were going to 85,000, but they always tell you after the fact. Never before. Well, we got somebody who's going to help us today, tell us before the fact which way we're going with these altcoins. He's an altcoin guru, by the way. He's an altcoin guru. So I'm really excited to get Crux of Crypto on with us today. So again, stay tuned. We'll get into that here shortly. Go follow him, by the way, at Crux_of_crypto on X. And I also have his YouTube channel up here. I'll show that in a minute. I'll definitely show that in a minute. But before I do that, let's get up my charts, man. I want to show you guys and go through a few market overview touch points because we are at a very, very critical level. Man, this has been a crazy rally. And let me just bring myself up here really quickly and show you my screen, guys. As you can see here, what we have going on is an epic rally. We bounced off of Bart's head.
I thought you were street smart, bro.
I thought I was street smart too. Evidently Bart isn't either. It bounced right off of his head, and we have been moving up all the way to $78,000 Bitcoin. Now Bart faked us out. Maybe we should say Trump faked us out. Trump faked us out twice, Bart. We had Bart placed over here, right? Remember this? Or it was right here. It was right here. We had Bart placed right here. He was sitting perfectly on that downward trend line, as you guys can see there. Hands in his pocket. He's just chilling. He's waiting, right? And we started to head lower. Then Trump came out with some imaginary players, negotiations, and we started move back up. We moved back up, guys. We're back up. We're back up into the air, ladies and gentlemen. And we actually bounced perfectly off of this trend line that you guys can see here on the screen, the orange one there. And I actually drew some additional ones. Let me move myself over here. I drew some additional trend lines, or one additional one, a little steeper, that we also bounced off of. So we've been keeping this pattern of moving higher, higher lows, higher highs in this market. And one would say, hey, that means the bull market is on and popping. You know, bears, they're left in tears all the way back here, right? That's what one would say. But we move look, markets move in levels. Okay, so we gotta, yes, the bulls have scored a few very, very critical points. It's fourth quarter. It's 2 minutes ago. Coach calls a timeout. Now the bulls are up. They are up. But hey, their opponent has a center, and his name is Shaquille O'Neal, ladies and gentlemen. And he's ready to, or Mutombo, whoever you want it to be. He's a big guy. He's ready to block us right here at $78,000. Will it happen? That is the next level. That's all I can tell you. You have to trade for yourselves and figure it out on your own. Can't give you financial advice. I'm just giving you kind of a bird's eye view of what I see. I see high resistance at 78,000. So if you, if I were you and I were long, which we were long on Bloodalytics all day, man. We went long this morning at 3 a.m. just the open of London. We went long on Ethereum, Scalpalytics Pro V2, and we also went long on Bitcoin right before the opening as well, and caught all of that for the trade up. Again, yesterday was pretty difficult because we were flopping and groping big time yesterday, but we made all that up on today's session. So if you were long, I believe in taking profits along the way, fading the rally. The worst thing you want to do is have a round trip. You don't want a round trip. So I'm just saying, at these levels, I would take some profits. It's okay to take some profits, ladies and gentlemen, to live to see another day. If you're a trader, if you're an active trader. Now, Crux is not an active trader. He is a altcoin specialist. So I can't wait to get him up to talk about that. But definitely wanted to just give you guys kind of a market overview of where we are. Let's see if I can pull up Weex really quickly and go over. Let's go over to the. Where is the markets? Okay, markets right here. Here we go. You can now trade crude oil on Weex. That's another, that's great. I've got an algo for crude oil as well, so that's great. I'm gonna have to start trading crude oil over on Weex. So markets again, Bitcoin, phenomenal day, up 4.25%. Look at Ethereum, up 4.6%. Amazing days for the two major players. Solana is up 4%. Rave. Is that Raven coin? What is that? Man, we'll have to ask Crux what that is. Rave USD up 13% today. Good God Almighty. There's so many coins I can't keep up with. That's why we're bringing Crux on to help us out. All right. But yeah, great day overall, and it is looking really good for us. Now let me bring back up the our slide here, and we're going to talk about some crypto news. So our crypto news today is all about the move up, right? Bitcoin 78K fake out. Bitcoin briefly hit, guys, the 76 on cooling PPI and P signals, triggering a $650 million liquidation before retreating. Now we're much higher. Fear eases, sell-off looms, market bounces from extreme fear, but leveraged and tax season sell pressure could cap further gains. And we'll, I'll have to ask Crux this too, guys. Again, drop your comments in the section in this live stream, because I have a lot of questions as well. Is the tax season something that is beneficial for crypto, or is it something that is not beneficial? Are people going to be selling their crypto because of tax season? That's one of the questions that we're posing this week. All right. And institutional backstop. Morgan Stanley ETF inflows and institutional products provide a strong floor for the current rally. We know those ETFs, man. Those ETFs definitely put a bid under the markets, right? Of the major cryptocurrencies, your Bitcoins or Ethereums, and then that money kind of trickles downward. It's a top-down approach to fueling the altcoin rally. Now, one thing I did not show you that I want to show you really quickly is my favorite chart, which is an altcoin chart actually, and it is this one here. This is the total 3. So this is every crypto coin except Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we earlier this week, we were watching on Wednesday whether or not we would drop back down into the pennant. And lo and behold, we double tapped it right here. Boom and boom. And off to the races we went. Very, very strong move off of the downward trend line. And we are past a lot of levels, guys. The only area I have left to make sure we keep an eye out on is that previous high for the altcoins, which would put us at roughly $753 billion market cap. So we are currently about 1% away from that. So again, this aligns with us being 1% away from a significant area of resistance. This aligns with us being literally 1% away. I'm just eyeballing it because I didn't bring the ruler out. 1.5% away, 1.25% away from the next resistance area, strong resistance area for Bitcoin. So we have markets aligning here, and these technicals are aligning. So this is an area you just want to watch going into the weekend. I don't know what's going to happen. There's rumors that we're going back into Iran over the week. I don't know if it's true or not. That would be a negative for the markets if that were the case. So you just want to be careful going into the weekend. But without further ado, let's go ahead and bring up today's guest, my guy, Crux of Crypto. This is actually so crazy. This is the first time I've had him on. It's the first time I've had Crux of Crypto on. So what a pleasure to have you on, brother. Thanks for tuning in with us and locking in with Weekly News Wrap. How are you, bro?
What's going on, Crypto Blood? Hey, first of all, I didn't know Bart Simpson's head was that big. So, hey, every single day you learn something new. I see your chat going crazy right now. They're talking about Trump is about to dump the markets, man.
Yeah,
wild,
yeah, man. Thank you for tuning in with us, man. And we know you're the altcoin pro, and I'm excited myself to talk to someone that pretty much just focuses on altcoins. I don't know too many people that just focuses on altcoins, and so I'm glad to talk to you. I know people that focus on meme coins only. I know people that focus on like GameFi coins, but you focusing on in your expertise level or area is altcoins in general. So that's great. Tell us a little bit about yourself first, though, before we start to make this deep dive.
Yeah, so I started in crypto about 2020. I did fairly well in my first bull market. Actually, did very well in my first bull market. Made it a little bit past 7 figures, and then I lost a good amount back in May of 2021. So if you guys were around in crypto around that time, a lot of people took a beating. I diamond handed it through. I took some profits back in that Q4, pretty close to that peak. But as I went into this next bull market about a year ago, or about 2 years ago, I started to create content. So I hopped on board with maybe some of you've heard of them, Tim Warren, and then also Taylor Shrum. So two of the bigger guys from the crypto Jeb days, if you're around last bull market. And we've just been creating content ever since. And we are building these brands and just trying to be the next era of cryptocurrency.
Nice. That's great, man. Yeah, I remember the crypto Jeb days, definitely. And shout out to Tim Warren. I'm gonna have to get him on. He's another great content creator in the crypto space. So let's go ahead and let's dive into a little bit of this situation we got on the screen, which is I want to kind of touch on some of these headlines, bro. So kind of give me your take on the markets in general. Like, how do you feel about this move up? What is causing this move up in your opinion? And will the altcoins ultimately lead the way? I mean, they've been doing very well so far. What's your take on just kind of give us a bird's eye view of everything right now?
Yeah, so this is the first time we actually got over the 100-week standard moving average since 1010. So that was a significant event. It was the biggest liquidation event in crypto history. That's whenever you had I believe it was actually a White House insider mixed with somebody with knowledge of the Binance event, where there was an oracle that was exploited. So 1010 led to like $20 billion in liquidations within a 48-hour period. And ever since that day, Bitcoin has been under a 100-week standard moving average. So this is the first time. Congrats. We are back over that. But I don't want you to go ahead and throw all those longs in just yet. Just like Crypto Blood said earlier, everybody is smart after the fact, right? We still have this thing called the 4-year cycle. I personally believe that we're in quarter 2. So earlier you referenced, Shaquille O'Neal. We're in that 4th quarter. I think we're about halftime. We're just coming out of halftime. We're down a little bit, but I think Q4, October of this year, is where we bottom out around $40,000. It's a bold take. I'm sure a lot of people are not super happy to hear about that, but I think up until just like you showed, a couple more percentages up, we probably come off of that resistance. But we will see in the next couple 5-6 months, we'll probably go back and forth. But I think it's going to be down and right.
Oh, okay. So you think down and right? Interesting.
Yeah, I can go more in depth if you would like. I got a chart ready to go.
Oh, let's do it. Let's bring your chart up really quickly. Let's see what we've got brewing here with Crux.
Yeah, this is probably my favorite chart to kind of explain what the 4-year cycle is. I am a 4-year cycle theorist, of course, and this is the best for macro. So earlier we talked about like near-term price action. When we're longing, we're shorting these shorter-term time frames, adding leverage, and that's how you can make a lot of money in crypto. But if you're an investor and you're holding on long-term, what you see over here on the far left is going to be where Bitcoin was created out of that 2008 financial collapse, or housing collapse rather. And then Satoshi comes out, 2009, drops this on us. And what we see is every 3 years, every 4th year rather, the OGs that have been mining since 2009 usually dump on us for about a year. And this is called a bear market. And what I'm waiting on as a long-term holder, as you can see, the green line is going to be the OGs. These are the people that have been mining really, actually, just earlier, there was a dormant wallet that woke up from 15 years ago that just dumped, I think, 15,000 Bitcoin. So as you can see, the orange line is going to be your Bitcoin price. This goes up. This is retail, and it's also institutions. So like the Michael Saylors of the world. And then for 3 years straight, up, and then they dump for a year. which would be your up and right here. But this sideways price action is just the OGs waiting. They're waiting, price goes up, and then they dump for a year, boom. And then every single bull market
accumulation zone, right? Accumulation, is that accumulation?
That's when they're just waiting, because retail's just going to keep buying, price goes up, they dump for a year, and then every single error, check this out, you get the cross between the realized price of what the OG sold at and then the dumping of Bitcoin's price. So every single error, way back here, error 1 it crossed, error 2 it crossed, error 3, error 4, and all I'm waiting on is for this to come down and cross. So Bitcoin's price still needs to come down. The way that's going to come down is the OGs over time are going to continue to sell. And it's tough because we're like, Trump just came through. He just made a way for Bitcoin to pump overnight, but we just don't know. Like the OGs are just sitting, they're chopping at the bits. They actually own 65% of all Bitcoin. Retail owns, institutions rather, and governments own about 18%. And I'm a firm believer of he who owns the crypto controls the price. So that's my take.
Interesting. So it's crazy how markets work and participants play within the markets, because I have the same conviction, but I come to that conclusion from a different solution, right? My equation is different, our answer is the same.
Sure.
So that's interesting that you break it down that way, and I haven't heard that perspective. So that's great to hear another person's perspective on kind of the markets. That's the thing about it as well. Like, a lot of people are excited, as you stated. Trump really threw off, especially the last 6-7 weeks. It's been chaotic. And because of his, he's been coming out giving different headlines, as you stated, kind of manipulating the markets and front running. And so I think it has definitely thrown things off. And I'm just personally cautious with this rally where we are today. We have, I saw this morning. Look at this, 400 million worth of shorts liquidated.
Wow.
In crypto this morning, in the past, just in 4 hours. So a slaughter fest going on there for sure. So that's interesting, bro. That's interesting. So what I want to ask you, if we can just go ahead and bring this chart back up here. What about where are we in this fear greed cycle right now? I know we got a pop on the fear and greed index, which is kind of like a day-to-day thing. But based on your mining, that chart that you showed us, like how far are we from, do you think we are from making that bottom area? And what is our price point for Bitcoin on that bottom, roughly?
Yeah, so this is wild, because we have this thing called diminishing returns, diminishing losses. So last bull market, we went from 69 all the way down to 15.5 for a 70% or a 77% pullback. So what I've basically done every single bear market is we lose 7% less than the prior. So I think we're going to go down about 70% from the 126K, which is why I came up with the 40,000 price target. But here's the issue, because since we have diminishing losses, we also have diminishing returns. So in 2021, we had a 22x. In this last bull market, we had an 8.3x from 15.5 to 126. Yeah. So if I take 40% of the multiple of the previous multiple, then it should put us at a 3.2x of the 40,000 price. And that would only put us at like 100 and maybe 30,000. So that's why I do believe that the Bitcoin 4-year cycle must break this bull market. And I think the institutions alongside the Clarity Act are going to allow that to happen, which is pretty good. And at that point, it's like crypto, especially Bitcoin, moves forever up and right, such as gold, like a naturally just moving asset. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, going all the way into Q3, Q4, we're going lower. And I'm at this point, about 70% probable. And I know it's tough to fathom, because you look at like Kalshi or you look at these betting odds, and it actually past like week has been going up and up and up as far as like the bottom is in. but people are super
Well, of
reactionary.
course, but
Yeah.
exactly they're reacting to the manipulation.
Yeah.
The markets are reacting to manipulation, in my opinion, and so yeah, it's going to look that way. But the higher we go, the more real conviction you need for that to actually continue. So if it's built on a house of cards, it's going to fall apart the higher we go. And so, but hey, you can't put it past Trump. I don't know what he's going to say next. He could come out and say something just insane, like
Right.
Iran is going to be the 51st state of the United States. I mean, and we just go crazy again like we did with Canada, man. That's just, I don't know what's going to happen. He throws a monkey wrench in these markets for sure with his rhetoric. So it's been very challenging for those who are investors. Now, do you don't trade at all? You just kind of pick different altcoins and such to build your portfolio?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. This next bull market, I'm actually going to start trading. I'm going to acquire a lot more Bitcoin than I currently have, and just for the most part trade that Bitcoin. Now, how I've done more or less like as a crypto analyst is just focusing the altcoins, and that's my leverage. So instead of buying Bitcoin, I'll buy Hyperliquid or Solana, and that's kind of just my way instead of 3 or 5xing my Bitcoin in a leverage trade. But I do think that there are definitely advantages of taking the near-term price action swings, just like you saw today, and being able to make a lot of money off leverage.
Right. Excellent. So what about macro-driven regime, easing inflation and geopolitical topics? Are you keeping an eye? You have to be really watching kind of the inflation numbers and PPI, and we got at the end of this month we have a FOMC meeting that is going to be very interesting. Will you say what's going to happen with the FOMC this coming meeting? Because to me they're stuck, Crux. They're stuck in between a rock and a hard place because they really can't lower rates because look at where oil prices are. Look where energy prices, food, fertilizer, all these things are going higher because of the Middle East situation. So they, to me, can't lower rates. But at the same time, if they increase rates, Trump is going to obliterate the Federal Reserve. So tell me what you think about this upcoming FOMC meeting we have. What in a couple? Was it a couple weeks?
Yeah, it's like probably a little like
the
29th.
10 days. Yeah, 29th,
right.
I think, or 27. Yeah, it's the 29th. Yeah, 29th.
Yeah, so it's already basically 99% that they're not going to lower the rates. Really, since those 3 rate cuts of last year, we had September, October, we skipped November, and then we went December. And since January of this year, we've just held static, or we just held solid. And at that point, it's like, all right, when are they going to cut? Okay, inflation's going up because oil prices, Fed Chair Powell, his last one is going to be in May. So he's going to be replaced. I think that's going to lead to a short-term pump. But overall, like your question about what are we doing with inflation, it's tough because we can't lower the rates. Unemployment's going down. AI's over here, sapping jobs left and right. And the price is going up for everything, because of the oil prices. So what I've seen is some of the major banks are calling for 2 rate cuts this year. I think that's very on the optimistic side. What I look at is what are the betting odds? Because usually if people place their money, it's a little bit more accurate. And the Fed themselves, they have said most likely 1 rate cut, at least kind of hinted towards it. We don't know when. I think Wall Street, for the most part, is thinking between 0 and 1 rate cuts this year. And it's all because of how crazy or how volatile Trump has been. It's just so hard to get ahead of this. It's basically impossible at this point. Just like you said, like he could end the war today, or we could see, I don't know, more events happening, today as well. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. I think they're gonna go unchanged for the whole year.
Oh,
for the whole year.
Well, yeah, you're not alone.
For the whole year.
Yeah,
for the whole year.
I think maybe 1. I don't know, but it would be like Q4, like sometime. And who knows? It might line up with my Q3, Q4 price swing. I think that also the Clarity Act might be stalled because of that. Like Maybe they're just holding it, waiting for, all of it to be able to be released at the same time. But that's
How do you?
speculation.
We talked about the Clarity Act last week with Jenna X. What's your take on that? I like that. Part of that is, the CFTC is going to pretty much handle a lot of the crypto stuff. I like that. How do you feel about the direction we're going?
Yeah, so Fed Chair Paul Atkins, or not Fed Chair, the CFTC chair, or no, the SEC chair Paul Atkins,
SEC.
sorry, SEC chair Paul Atkins, he came out and he said specifically the only securities in crypto are going to be the securities that already exist in the traditional world. So whenever we tokenize stocks, such as like Tesla or Nvidia on a blockchain, those are considered
That'll be
securities.
securities.
But your meme coins, your NFTs, your Bitcoins, these are all commodities, which is absolutely
Major
crazy.
win.
It's awesome. It is a major win for crypto. And I think what we're waiting on, so there's Ondo Finance, there's X stocks, there's all of these different tokenized assets that are being created. And I think once the Clarity Act really comes through and they stamp their approval on this is what it is, you can do whatever you want as an institution. I don't think it's like a light switch, but because I do think there may be a possible buy the rumor, sell the news type event, but there's no bigger catalyst in crypto right now than the Clarity Act. And we will see, Brad Garlinghouse, he came out, he said 90% certainty it'll pass in April. Cynthia Loomis has been pretty vocal. Scott Bessent's been vocal. Everyone's been vocal. And it seems like they might get it wrong because April is, it's ticking. And I don't see any signatures happening. So.
Nah, it's not. It hasn't been looking good. I've been following it this week as well. It's been a lot of slow up with the progression with that whole act. So we'll see what happens. Definitely see what happens. Let's go ahead and talk about the Genius Act. That's another one with the stable coins. That's a big one as well, right?
Yeah. So with the Genius Act, that one definitely targeted more of the stable coin, which is going to be your infrastructure, your onboarding into crypto. And this is the biggest thing about this last bull market. And the reason I kept calling it the regulatory cycle, and most people were calling it the institutional cycle. In the way I gauge it, like I said earlier, he who owns the Bitcoin controls the price. So if the OGs own 65 and then institutions own 18%, at any time the OGs can dump on the institutions. And that's just kind of how it works. But if I look at 2021 exposure of crypto, you had like Grayscale, Tesla, MicroStrategy. Some institutions were involved. They had about 9%. So I think every 4 years at this point, institutions will own double from 9 to 18 where they're currently at, and then 36% most likely by 2029, which is why I think we're not going to go into a bear winter. But with the Genius Act in particular, this is what allowed the onboarding stable coins. The Clarity Act is going to allow the clarity of what rules that crypto must abide by. And then the next bull market is when we see the treasuries, the corporate treasuries, because there's only two companies in the world that are in the top 700 by market cap, which is MicroStrategy and Tesla, that own Bitcoin, that are public companies. You have a couple private like SpaceX, but to me, institutions are not here yet. We need the Genius Act. Well, the Genius Act already passed. It already set that foundation, and the Clarity Act is the last punch before we go up and right.
Yeah, interesting take. Yep, I agree with you. They kind of work hand in hand, really. So partnerships, I just want to give you guys an update on some partnerships and ecosystem updates. So DeFi goes institutional. So Ether.fi and other partners with pre-grade platforms, or pro-grade platforms, I should say, to drive compliant block space adoption. We've got that going on with that company, Ether.fi. Are you familiar with Ether.fi?
I know a thing or two about them. I would say Ethereum just as a whole is a beautiful blockchain, what they're doing over there. And their TVL and just their onboard activity is second to none. So Ether.fi is a big project over there.
Yeah. Ripple payments scale as well. So XRPL expands B2B utility and bank partnerships, solidifying its lead in institutional settlement. Are you an XRP junkie?
Man.
Are you one of those people, my friend? Are you?
Yeah. Man, this is a tough question. I'm going to be honest. XRP, I love XRP. I am part of the XRP army. Shout out.
Okay. All right.
So
All right.
I
Drop
always
some
wanna
X's in the
caveat.
chat, guys. Drop some X's in the chat. We got an XRP junkie
Yeah.
here.
I mean, you're looking at a proof of, I mean, it technically is proof of work. You got 1500 TPS, so it's a fairly fast network. You're looking at about 100 transactions for a penny. So they've figured out what Satoshi couldn't figure out. So I'll be honest with that. They figured out the scalability piece. They took the centralized route. So they said, to heck with decentralization and security. And at this point, they bought, not Silk Road, but a Hidden Road for, I think, $1.3 billion. And now they have infrastructure that has been onboarded to DTCC, which is one of the biggest institutions in the world.
A lot of people don't know what that institution is. That they handle all of the stock. Used to be the stock certificates for equities for the Wall Street stock market here in the United States. Mm-hmm. All that stuff is recorded there and held there.
So my bet on XRP in particular is you got to figure out RLUSD, and you got to get it on the and you got to get on the XRPL, because right now like 70% of all RLUSD that's minted is on Ethereum's blockchain. So XRP, like, you're creating a good product, but people aren't even using your blockchain, and I think that's kind of
my concern. And then I don't, I like the concept of the holding company Ripple is great. Mm-hmm. If they go public, which they haven't, right? They're not public, are they?
No, they're not public.
No, they're not public. If they go public, that's to me a great company to invest in. But I'm just trying to find where the connection is and the value add is for the token XRP, because they're acquiring like companies, like you just said, left and right, and adding to their portfolio. But I just don't. I want to know how that translates into value added to the XRP token. So that's where I'm still a little confused about.
Yeah. So that's all pure speculation. I'll be honest with you. Brad Garlandhouse coming out talking about, we're going to replace Swift, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. It's pure speculation. And the technologies, I would say it's okay. It's like C tier. At this point we have, DAGs and much better technologies out there. And so at that point you're just like, he's kind of in bed with the lawmakers. Like, he's rubbing elbows with the right people. And that's what you're investing in is him having those connections and them adopting it. So, I mean, we'll see. Yeah. We will see.
Yeah. What are your current? What do you see as current opportunities in the market right now, Crux?
Yeah. So, I came out recently with my top 7 picks, and chat, let me know what you think about these. So, first of all, I got to give Solana its nod. Solana did very well this last bull market. It survived the FTX.
I'm a Solana guy.
Yeah, it survived the Sam Bankman-Fried, which is wild. Yeah, and this is no order, but Hyperliquid, man. So this project has absolutely been crushing it on the revenue side. I would say the token holders are the way that their tokenomics are trash. So I'll say that, which is a big reason not to invest into it. But I think they're doing well as far as their first bull market going into their second. There's one speculative project, Caspa. It's probably not your first time hearing about it, but there's I like, this is one that I'm very convicted in. If it goes to zero, I wouldn't be surprised, but there's a good amount of risk to reward in that project.
Man, I remember Discover Crypto were going crazy over Caspa.
Yeah.
For a while, man. Yeah, I haven't heard a lot about, again, I'm not an altcoin guy, so maybe I'm just out of the loop. I'm just a trader, but I haven't heard a lot about Caspa in the last 6 to a year.
Yeah, so they got 2 hard forks coming up. One is going to be the one that takes them from, actually, it adds, so they have a new programming language called SilverScript, and then also they have something called vprogs. And for the first time, you're going to be able to program and actually compute off-chain and then settle on-chain without sacrificing composability or your sovereignty. So I know it's a lot of buzzwords in there. A lot of crypto projects try to throw buzzwords in there to get you to buy their stuff. But if there's anything the chat should take away, check out vprogs. And I always look for it, like, as a crypto analyst, what is different from this project than everything else? And you're talking about the guy who created decentralized acyclic graphs, which are more efficient than blockchains. So I always invest in visionaries, and that's why I hold true to Caspa.
That's why Dags really I early on caught my attention. That's why I was very excited and a holder still to this day of Hedera.
Yeah, Hedera,
Yeah, Hedera.
their hash graph is a type of a DAG. So you got like Caspa, who has like a ghost DAG. But Hedera is still a solid project. It's not in my top 7, but it's up there, probably top 15. Very scalable. Their governance is interesting. They have like 32 different companies, from like IBM to Microsoft to Google. That's essentially decentralizing the network. So instead of like you, me, and whoever's mining Bitcoin in their grandma's basement who's calling governance, it's smart people in terms of like, these are the biggest people in the world that control money. So it's decentralized in a centralized manner. So
Gotcha.
one other project, maybe the chat has talked about, is Tau. I think that's a beautiful project there.
I have been hearing about that.
We had the pullback. There's a lot of stuff going on in that ecosystem right now. I don't think we're out of the woods yet, but the founder, he has come forth. He's done an AMA, and he's released some information on why it's not a scam. So those are just a couple of projects that I think are solid.
What's up with this one here, bro? I want to know about. Let me see if I can actually bring this up like this. Rave? What's going on?
Yeah,
Are you familiar with Rave?
I've heard it a couple times. Really, it's just like the trending cryptocurrency on CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap.
Okay.
I would not invest in any project because I always look in the white paper. The white paper specifically talks about music. It talks about community and all these like fun buzzwords, but there's no project in crypto that's ever won, in terms of this thing's gone up and right and set a new all-time high after all-time high for multiple cycles. That isn't like just like an L1 or artificial intelligence play. Like if it's, so I've read a little bit into the white paper, and I would definitely stay away from that project just because of, music's not going to sell and make over and over and over. So yeah, it's.
Oh, so that's a music player. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't see that being, not yet at least. Especially with like AI music and stuff. How does that even, I don't know how that's going to all integrate and play together just quite yet. All right, guys, again, hit that like button, share this stream, and definitely go show Crux some love, ladies and gents. He's been dropping alpha after alpha after alpha for us today. Look, I want you to really quickly, we're going to do this. We got to highlight Weex updates. H5 browser, you might have seen it at the beginning of the live stream. Let's go ahead and take another look at this video.
Wherever I go, I'm on home turf. Weex mobile browsers, no download, just trading. Storage for memories, freedom for trades. Weex mobile browsers, no download, just trading. Weak signal, strong trade. Weex mobile browsers, no download, just trading.
All right, ladies and gents. That's a great little neat tool that Weex has come up with. You don't have to download the app. I like that. Less apps is better for me.
There you
for
go.
sure. We're at that point in time in the live stream, ladies and gentlemen, where it is an ask me anything, ask Crux anything. And I've got a few questions here that I've highlighted. As a derivatives heavy exchange, what leverage and risk management strategies do you recommend in this uncertain environment? Amulayam20 asks. So do you don't really use too much leverage, right? You use crypto altcoins as your leverage.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Yeah, if this guy in particular is talking about risk management strategies, you have to talk about stop losses, right?
Yeah,
But yeah,
for
and
sure.
for me, yeah, my leverage comes from the altcoins.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as my answer to that, Emulatum, I'm going to have to say that, first of all, you should only risk about 2%. Well, I shouldn't tell you what to do, but I risk only 2% of my account per trade. So you'll have to back into those numbers and figure out how to come to that trade size. But basically, how can I give you an example? So basically, if you have a $10,000 account, right? When you're placing a long on Bitcoin, you should not risk any more than $200 on that trade. That's all I mean. 2% risk per trade. So you may, like in my case, I'm in what's called an algo trader or a quant trader. So I have like multiple trades open at one time. So that makes it even more of a something you want to pay attention to, because that's 200 times. Let's say you have 5 trades open. That's $1,000 you're risking. That's 10% of your overall account you're risking on 5 trades. Now, hopefully all 5 won't go wrong. It shouldn't. You need to come to bloodoflicks.com if you have that problem. But that's kind of giving you some scope on how to keep your risk management together. 2% per trade. 2% of your account per trade is what I do. Here's one that I see from Selena Soif. If Bitcoin suddenly reverses from here, what key support resistance levels and risk management strategy would you personally watch first? Crux, what's your take on that one?
Key support resistance level and risk management strategy would I personally watch first? I mean, earlier you said about 2% up, we come against that resistance.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably not be longing right now. I think there's a lot of
Gotcha.
signs on the charts to short rather than long at this point. You know, we just went up quick. So what you don't want to do is jump in after the fact, like you mentioned earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to buy at the top and end up selling at the bottom. That's the worst position to be in, for sure. Let's see here. Let me find. I have one more here. So thank you for that. We will definitely drop you your bonus to your UID. We appreciate that. Hustlers always rocks says, with institutional inflow building a floor, does that mean dips are now buy opportunities instead of warning signs?
All right. So I don't know if you're just now tuning in, but I talked about the institutions, and most of them are not yet getting in. I know, like we talk about iBits, BlackRock. These are retail products. So BlackRock has not got with their lawyers yet in a board meeting and said you can take your hard-earned money and invest it. They are investing their clients' money. So right now we got the regulation. It is almost set with the Clarity Act. And when we talk about the institutions building the floor, you know, I would have patience, because the Clarity Act, it could be maybe 2027. You know, a lot of people don't talk about it, but we went into this year thinking we were going to get a ton of rate cuts, and where they go, you know, so it's tough to navigate these markets, but Trump makes it tough on purpose. I think he has everything under his control, and I would be just doing what that family is doing. And they're pretty big, if not the biggest family in all of crypto. All of them are billionaires now. So you got teenagers that are 100 million.
Barron, yeah.
Oh man, that family making out.
Yeah, they're making it money. They're making it rain. And Trump's gonna pardon everybody on his way out. He said within 200 feet of the White House, baby. That's what he said. Within 200 feet, you're getting a pardon. All right. Hey, I mean, hey, must be nice. Must be nice. So, man, it's been a pleasure, Crux of Crypto. We really appreciate you coming on. Make sure you guys use the VIP code STAM at sign up for a $25 USDT giveaway that'll be added to your account once you deposit. So definitely look into that. Again, VIP code STAM at sign up. And also don't forget to go and give my guy Crux some love. Show him some love over there on X. He is live and direct over on X. Let me pull that up right here. Crux of Crypto.
What made it?
Yes, sir. Looking good there. Got a lot of alpha he's dropping on X, guys. And also go follow him with his YouTube channel, Crux of Crypto. He just passed 5,000 subscribers. I saw that the other day. Congrats to you, my guy.
Appreciate
it. And yeah, we appreciate you coming on, man. Any last words for the gang?
Yeah, anytime you want to have me back on, Blood, I will be here. I'm just here to spread the good word of crypto because, you know, we are in an asset class that is quickly growing. Fastest asset class of all time. Hit 1 trillion market cap much faster than Google and Apple. And I just want everybody to know you are still very early. So if you see Bitcoin, you're like, I have to get the altcoin. I got to get the new shiny thing. You don't. Bitcoin will still hit 7 figures and beyond. So you can dollar cost average, do what most people should be doing, and hodl. So I wore the shirt for you. Hodl those bags.
There you go. Crux, man, appreciate it again. Look forward to having you on in the future, my friend.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you, Crypto Blood.
All right, you got it. All right, ladies and gents, again, that was a great show. A lot of alpha dropped there with my guy, Crux of Crypto. Make sure you go follow him again, Crux of Crypto, Crux_of_crypto on X, and you can just find him on YouTube searching Crux of Crypto. Final words really quickly. Don't forget, over on my side of the channel, I do have a special going on right now, only with exclusively with Weex, and that special is you get a 7-day free trial of Bloodalytics. All right, scan that QR code you see on the screen. It'll take you to a landing page. You just got to sign up with Weex, put your UID number in there, okay? And like this form you'll see, put your UID number from Weex. Once you sign up, give us your TradingView username and we will email, and we will send you and start you off with a 7-day free trial of Scalpalytics Pro. But you gotta be trading with Weex, ladies and gentlemen. So don't forget to do that. Again, link is on my channel in the description of this video. So I greatly appreciate it. That is it, though, for today, ladies and gents. Again, thank you for tuning in. Much appreciate each and every one of you. And, hey, I hope you win. I hope you guys win. We'll be picking those winners later today or tomorrow. Look out for that in the next couple of days, all right? Without further ado, we're going to wrap up today's Weekly News Recap with your boy, Crypto Blood. We're out of here, people. Peace.